Yo, yo, yo! What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today, I want to work on our GUI framework, do a few more text box improvements. We have a GUI framework. Wowzer, exciting. We've made some improvements to it yesterday, or last stream, so look at this. We have like mouse selection now. We can select text, delete it, wow, even replace it, wow. But there's a lot more to do here. And so that's what I want to look at today. There's a lot of just little things that are a problem. Like if I click over here, the cursor doesn't move, right? But if I click on a character, it does. The cursor is not like centered correctly between characters, which is annoying. And actually, like you would think that would just be annoying, but actually like feels wrong to use as a result. Like where I click doesn't feel like it's correct, even though the click location detection is correct. It feels like it's wrong because the cursor is not centered. So I want to fix that. When I type too much, hold on, like it runs off the edge, annoying, gross. If I try to like drag off the screen, it just kind of like instantly jumps to the end, which is a problem, right? There should be some sort of like smooth improvement there, I think. Or at least like some intentional behavior there. Control A doesn't work, right? I want to be able to select all, copy paste, home end, shift select. So shift left and right should do some sort of selecting. Does Control Shift U work? I don't even know what that does. Emoji support, that we need to fix. We would need to fix our font renderer to do emoji support. So I'm not really worried about that right now. Control left and right for like word selection, and then I think that like our focus detect like is wrong. So if we have like multiple text boxes, I think that that's broken right now as a result of like the last refactor that I did on the GUI framework. So let's do, and let's just start moving. Okay, so the first thing I want to fix is this, the fact that it overruns. So let's figure out where we calculate the right, like the label adjustment. So we have like a label in a label widget that lives inside the text entry widget, and we kind of like slide that label around based off of where the cursor is. I think we can kind of just go to the render section and see what the rules are here. So we render this thing with the label with some text bounds, which we get from here. So we have some left section, and we have where the widget is supposed to live. So we just pull. Is this even used? Oh, I see. We only use the widget bounds to find the centering of the text vertically, because we've probably already found the left edge over here, which is widget bounds left plus left pad plus left offset. So where does the left offset come from, I guess? I see. So we find where the cursor is relative to what? What is this returning? If the cursor is on a character that is valid in the text entry, we find where that is relative to the start of the label, and then subtract where that is relative. What is this? Min x. What does this mean? Layout bounds min x. So I guess like maybe theoretically, like the text could kind of bleed off the left edge of where you tried to enter it, or maybe the first character position is not like aligned with the left edge of the label. So this is both like kind of relative to the label. Where is this thing gonna live? I guess. And so this is a cursor offset in label space, right? So this is kind of like, if my window is like this and my text entry is like this, the cursor offset is this, right? If the cursor is supposed to be here. I guess. So we find that position, and then we find where the current label is. So I think that it's like the label might be kind of sliding around left and right depending on what's in view. Then if this is less than 0 still, it's off the left side. And if it's greater than the width of the widget, it's off the right side. So I suspect the problem here is I saw in the other area that we used this thing, when we calculated the left edge here, we added some padding to the left side to prevent it probably from being like squished up against the edge. I assume that's what that did, right? So otherwise the text like rams up all the way against the left edge. And I bet you now this thing kind of works correctly. Like technically, the text, the like last letter of the text is perfectly aligned with the right side. So I think what we need to do is this padding maybe should be part of our offset calculation, right? This positioning should ensure that there's padding. I think that makes sense. So this offset is relative to the label position. Stop listing features that I don't have. You're gonna make me angry. Stop it. Yeah. So this width here is wrong by some metric, right? Like the width of the widget is different than the width of area for text, right? So I guess if we say that this is minus the pad times 2, then the left edge already kind of works correctly. And the right edge now will correctly be limited according to a pad on the right side as well. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Right, so here, left is like this. Here we scroll over. Right is like this. And now the cursor actually stays in view, which is kind of sick. And then if we start backspacing, yeah, I mean, that kind of feels right. Yeah, I mean, I'll take that. That feels kind of good. I think that's a win. I think that's a win. Oops. Remove to do. Okay. Text box, fix, cursor off right edge. We'll give a little bit more words for that later. Okay. Cursor centering. Shouldn't the first letter of the text be visible if the entire text has room? I think no. I'm not sure. Okay, so like you're kind of saying like if I start backspacing like this, should the cursor stay pinned to the right side? I mean, my intuition there was no. But I could see a world where maybe you would want to see that. I feel like there's like visual clarity in the fact that like as I backspace, I see the space show up on the right. I kind of like that. But I can see a world where other text boxes don't do it that way. Yeah, so Firefox does do it the other way. So maybe you're right that like I should pin to the right side. So it's like what? If the cursor... Yeah, I mean, I'll leave it for now because it doesn't bother me, but I get what you're saying and maybe we should do it. It would be easy to do. It's like something like instead of trying to just always make sure the cursor is on screen, you would also have to check that there's not a huge gap on the right or something. But it's fine. It's fine. Let's do cursor. Let's fix the cursor position. So this is this, right? This cursor is like aligned with the left edge of this character, which is like batshit. It should be between these two characters halfway, right? So let's look at where we render, figure out where we render the cursor. We do cursor offset. We get the cursor bounds of this thing. So we say, give me the cursor offset given this thing, which is the... We are literally just using the left edge of this pixel, right? So I see what is happening here, right? This thing is like cursor is on left edge of character 2, right? So then he's like, let's get the left edge of character 2. Nope. Is the zoom you're using from KDE? Yep. Yes, it is. When really this should be like, it should be get me left edge of char 2, get me right edge of char 1, and then like average those, I think. And then what do we do on like the left side? If we're on the left edge of the first character, it's probably fine to just pin to the left. And if we're on the right edge of the right character, it's probably fine to pin there. Because we don't know what like the spacing is for the next character. I don't think. Unless there's like an average text spacing value in the TTF, in like the font file, there might be. Let's just ask the idiot real quick, because I don't want to look up the spec. Do TTF files have a field for average, like, average advance width between characters? Let's just see if he has the answer here. Nope. He's saying there's per glyph advance. Yeah, okay. He's saying no. I trust him because I mean, I would trust him either way because I don't really think it's a big deal. So let's assume for now that is true. Of course, he always is a fucking lying piece of shit, but we can trust him anyways. In which case, we have like edge conditions for left and right. Okay. So, prev max, we'll call it, is can we do like, does this guy have like a get if in range? No, he doesn't. But that's okay. So let's do let's say glyph bounds maybe is like a function that we might want to use, which takes in the label and the index, and he returns a maybe of whatever the fuck this is. Text renderer, text layout, glyph lock. All right. Okay, so let's say if label glyph locations len is less than index, no, we do it the other way. If index is greater than or equal to this, return null. Then we return label glyph locations at index, like this, easy. So when we say left max is fuck. This isn't even really what I want, because we need like subtraction from 0. So we actually want like left max. Let's just call like, we'll just do it straight like this. Left prev glyph right. And then we'll have next glyph left. Yeah. Maybe like this. So then we say if index is equal to 0, return null. Or even, we don't even have to do the null thing here anymore. We can actually just say if index is equal to 0, we return 0. Left side. So we're looking for the previous right, but we can use the left side of ourselves if we're at the edge. And then, does this need to happen? What is going on here? Oh, I see. We jump to the right side. This is like a jump all the way to the right if there's nothing. But we don't have to do that either, I don't think. We can probably handle all of these cases at once. Probably. Yeah, there's probably some trick here. So like if index is greater than len, I guess if like here this would be out of bounds. And then here is the final case, probably. Okay, so if we're looking for our left edge, this is return 0. Okay, seems easy. So then we have like left is current glyph left. With cursor pause. Right is right. And then I think we can just do return left plus right over 2. Like this. Okay. Seems kind of right. Let's see if that all works. Well, we immediately crashed. Because prev glyph right. Oh, okay. Right, because index 0 is getting checked before the bounds check. But we can just kind of do this. Okay. Let's do this with this. There we go. Is that right? Probably. Nope, still no? What are we doing wrong now? $339. Oh. Right, because this should be -1. Oopies. Still? What am I fucking up? If... Oh. Oopies. Okay. I mean, now this is clearly wrong. Clearly wrong, but I don't understand why. I do not understand why. Can we render both? Maybe? Maybe that's the play. Well, okay. So before we thought we were basically giving the left. Right? So this should be how it was before, but it's clearly not. Because we're going off the right side. Oh, idiot. This should be max x. If we're off the right side, we should be on the right side, dummy. Dummy. There we go. Okay, that feels right. This feels right. This feels right. Okay, so this is how it was before. Now, can we do right side? Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this is wrong. This should be min x here. So that should fix the bug where we were kind of... Yeah, that feels right. But then, like, the problem here is that I kind of assumed that the right side would not include the space. But, like, the right side of this D, or the right side of this F, seems to include this, which is a problem. Because it's also confusing that this selection does not do that. Right? Like, this selection seems to know where the right edge of these characters are. So I wonder if we're like, if we're just not centering the cursor correctly, but we have the correct position. Oh, I'm returning the... Sorry, I'm returning the wrong edge. That makes more sense. Oh, there we go. Nice. So now we're hugging the right edge of the D instead of the left edge of the F. Nice. Wait. Okay, everything is just the way I expected, and I'm just an idiot. All right, let's try this again. Center it. Is that right? I mean, that's not right. We're a little bit too far right on this one. And this one. And this one. So I'd be curious to know if the problem is where we have positioned the cursor, or if we are rendering it kind of like biased to the right of that location, if that makes sense. Right? So here, what is going on here? Text left plus cursor offset. Okay. And then this gives us pixel bounds for this thing. Right, so we think that this is the left edge of the cursor, but this is really more like cursor center. Right? So then we need the cursor width as well, which I'm sure we have here. So left is going to be cursor center minus style cursor width over 2. Right? And then we need to have the right side, but just doing plus here is not correct. This is wrong. If we do left plus cursor width, then it's correct. because of like truncating division. Okay, so that kind of has this. And then top and bottom are probably still correct. Okay, let's look again. So it will bias left in cases where, oh, fuck me. Where were we? Right, like here, it's biasing to the left because there's 3 pixels between. But here, where there's 4 pixels between, it's like centered. Which feels like correct to me mathematically. Does it feel correct to me when I'm just like playing with it here? Like, no, right? Like, that feels wrong. I wonder if the width has to be 1. Like, how does that change the feel? No, that feels bad too. Like, what's going on here? It's almost like, I wonder if you want like hinting on it. So like, what does like Firefox do here? Like, hold on. How the fuck, why is this big now? Hello? What is happening? Oh, it's full screen, I see. Okay. Can we, oh, wrong button. Like, do they have cursor hinting? Oh, fuck, where are we? Oh, my mouse. Hold on. Okay, wait, where are we? Okay, so interestingly, they let the cursor overlap with the characters, and it looks like they're kind of biasing to the right, which kind of makes sense because like text entry is left to right. So I think we just change it so that we bias right. It looks like it's ignoring anti-alias pixels. I agree. Okay, but let's just do this. Plus mod 2. So here I would have expected this thing to be biased right. It still seems to be biased left, which I don't like. Oh, we also need to bias the this truncating division. So both the cursor center calculation needs to be biased right, and the actual selection of that thing needs to be biased right. Hello? Why? Oh, because it's a i32. Okay, that feels better. Yeah, it's interesting how like I knew that I wanted it biased right. Like this feels correct, which is funny because like I would never have like I don't like I didn't know that, but like my gut knew it, if that makes sense. So now do I feel like does text selection even feel correct now? Yeah, it felt a little wonky before, but now I feel like it feels how I expect. I think. Click on the right side of the S, then drag the D, get selected. Yeah, I think that makes sense. DNF looks a little weird still. Well, I mean, I think that the DNF cursor, like, I kind of get what you're saying, right? It's because It's because the edge of the F, like the cross on the F is like part of it. So then we like bleed up right against the edge of the F. I think it's like fine. Like I think it shouldn't move more to the right. Maybe it's because it's too thick. Right, like maybe that looks a little bit more okay. There's something wrong here. We might want to bias the center calculation to the left still. But the selection of where it lives to the right. It might be something like this. Huh. Yeah, there's something wrong with the math here now, where I would think with a single cursor wide thing, we should be picking the center pixel here. So why are we not doing that? Why are we not doing that? Why are we not doing that? So if we have like 1 and 4, right? Ooh, is the right edge inclusive? Is this an inclusive edge? I actually don't know. Text width. This is coming from maxx, which comes from glyphbounds maxx, which is coming from... Holy shit. Okay. So this is... It feels exclusive. It feels exclusive. Where the left edge is inclusive, which means that if left edge contains pixels, right edge does not, then our average calculation is wrong. But we're also biasing right. Oh, yeah, because we're biasing towards the edge that's containing pixels, which is the left edge. Yeah. So we need to offset one of these. I think offsetting right makes sense. But then the edge, the like edge case is wrong probably. But if we do it here, then maybe it's fine. So the right edge, we want to subtract 1 here, I think. So that we include if so the right edge is an exclusive edge calculated from, left plus width. Right? So for averaging to for symmetry with cur glyph left, this should be an inclusive edge. Is that correct? I think so. I need to draw it. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pixels, right? This is pixel index 0. This is pixel index 3. Well, okay, let's do odd. Let's do odd. 1, 2, 3. This is index 0. This is index 2. So 0 plus 2 over 2 is 1. That works. But that is only so this that's if there's a character in this and a character in this, right? But let's change the numbers a little bit, right? So let's say there's a character. So like we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? We'll say this is filled, this is filled. Or no. This is filled, this is filled. We want to find 4. So 2 plus 6 over 2 is 4. That makes sense, right? So it means that both of these have to be filled, right? So if this is filled, the average should be like this. And then we bias right for the case where it's, like this. 2 is filled, 5 is filled. This is 2, 3, 4, 5. We get 2 plus 5 over 2 is that's 7 over 2 is going to truncating divide to 3 plus the like remainder to bias up to 4. So I think this is right. And average calculation, this should be inclusive as well. I'm pretty sure that's right. I feel like I nerd stuff you and I didn't even mean to. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, that's good. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's great. Y'all see that shit? Yeah, that feels pretty good. I mean, you are still right that, like, the D to F looks weird, zoomed out. But I think that the only fix for that is that, like, the D to F doesn't really, how do I say this? Like, D to F would need the F to lie about its pixel bounds, is the only way it makes sense, right? You would need, like, a center of mass, almost, which would not be the center of the bounding box. You would almost want some sort of, like, weighted average of, like, which pixels are actually filled in. You know what I mean? Where's the place cursor between A and S? Right there. Which, again, right, according to the pixel grid here, is correct. It's what we wanted, right? It's halfway between biasing right. Can you highlight just D? Yeah, so here, the highlight is perfectly aligning to the character, like the pixels of the character that are filled in. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's fine. Do I want to leave the cursor with it too? I might. Let's just like take a quick peek. And then also, does it look correct with an even width cursor? Right, so that's definitely correct. Cursor's biased wrong for width again. So I think that's because we undid this part where when we calculate the left edge of the cursor from the center, we just want to bias up. Okay, looking again. Still wrong, huh? Well, the cursor width mod 2, no, it's more like this, right? Maybe a +1 here. Instead of the mod. Maybe that's what I'm trying to do. F? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh my god. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's the +1 is here. Alright, let's look again. Centered. It's still biasing left now. For some fucking reason. Oh, because this is minus. I'm an idiot. There we go. Now this is wrong. Fuck. Right? This is... We only want to do the, like, biasing when... Huh. When what? Okay, so I think the question we have to answer to ourselves is the center calculation correct? Try that adding +-1. I think this is what we'd had before. I think this is what we had before. So we need to think about it a little harder. So if we assume that the cursor center value is correct, which is not a perfect assumption. So we are calculating here inclusive left edge and inclusive right edge average. But then biasing that towards the right. Right? So that should be, you know, if this is filled and we have 3 and then this is filled, it should be this pixel. And then on 4, gap, it should be here, right? This is the value. If you have an odd number of free space, you can't have a center. I understand that. But we are picking a center, effectively. So the problem here is that when we are doing single character width cursor, it fills in this. But I guess the problem here is we are like, yeah, maybe you are right in that, like, holding, like looking at the center is wrong. Like, maybe you just need to calculate the left edge of the cursor instead. Because, like, where we want to bias here depends on the cursor width, probably, right? Because, like, if the cursor width is 2, we need to, like, draw backwards. But if the cursor width was 4, we would need to, like, fill this whole space, I guess. And if the cursor width was 3, we would want to fill these 3. So maybe we do just need to, like, collapse this into, like, a left edge calculation for the cursor offset. And what is the math there? I mean, okay, so what is the math here? It's find the center, x plus y over 2. That gives us the center pixel. And then we are trying to subtract maybe the like cursor width, half cursor width, which turns this whole thing into x plus y minus cursor width over 2. And then all of this wants to get biased to the right, probably. So there's like a +1 here for truncating division. Maybe. minus self-style cursor width plus 1 over 2. Maybe? I don't know. We're feeling it out. Because I'm kind of trying to like do the biasing at like the very end. You know what I mean? And cursor position is like known as well. So we can kind of just do this. And this wants div trunk, which maybe plus 1 might be wrong for negative numbers, but I'm not 100% on that. Okay. Okay. And then this is now the left edge. So now this is like this. Maybe that's right. All right. Fuck. It's okay. So here we are biasing left, which I don't like. Here we are centered. Here we're biased left again. So let's double check with width 1, and then that will determine whether or not our bias is wrong, like what reason our bias is wrong. Okay, centered, biased left. So it's unrelated to the cursor width. Unrelated to the cursor width. I'm confused. I'm a little confused. Like, so these are inclusive now. Can we... The bounds of this thing are left to right. Okay, let's can we double check? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Can we actually just log these things? That will probably make my life easier. Left is this. Right is this. Because, like, I'm missing something. Right? So that's correct. It's here where it's wrong. So left is 92. Right is 87. Okay. 87, 92, which should be a 4 pixel gap, right? So 87, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. So these are both filled. Right? So we want the left edge to be here. Or the center to be there here in this case. right? Yeah, I think so. So we're doing 87. I mean, was I just wrong about this thing wanting to be inclusive? Was that like offsetting another bug? It could have been. We could have just been double bugged. You know, that's a classic. I worked on this driver once that had like 4 bool flips on the way down, and 3 of them were wrong, or 2 of them were wrong, and an even number of the flips were incorrect, which made it seem correct, but it was wrong the whole way down, which is kind of funny. Okay, well, I guess we were wrong about that. I don't understand why that's the case, because it felt like we mapped it out and it felt right, but maybe with like the truncating division and stuff, we want the bias the way it was. I don't know, man. That looks correct now, though, finally. Finally, that's correct. So biased right on the 3, centered on the 2. Yep. Yep, that looks right. That looks correct. Jesus Christ. That was way harder than I thought it would be. Okay, so we changed cursor offset because he now wants to look at the style. This is fine. All of this is stuff that we want, I guess. Technically, we don't need to take this change, but fuck it. Text box center cursor between left right characters. Now subpixel positioning. No. Holy shit. Oh my god, dude. That was like 45 fucking minutes. How was that 45 minutes? Holy shit. Off by ones are the bane of my fucking existence. Holy, that felt like it was like 10. Okay, next one. If I'm here and I click here, the cursor should jump. Right? It should just jump to the fucking end. It only does if I click on the right side of the last character, but it should do it no matter what. This felt like the centering a div meme. Yeah, it kind of did. Okay, so on input, we probably, right now, we are checking if the mouse was pressed. We check if we collide with a character. If we do not collide with the character, no. Where does the selection gets set updated here? I see. So the cursor, somebody suggested yesterday that the selection and the cursor become one and the same, so I did make that change. So here is where the update's happening. We are saying if we collide, then we set this thing. Otherwise, we need to know, like, I think that we want to determine, like, where the mouse has intersected relative to the layout, right? Like, else if left of layout, else if right of layout. You know what I mean? Like, then we say, like index 0 left side. Otherwise, we're you know, len -1 right or something, or maybe even len left. Maybe something like this. We're like on the left side of a character that doesn't exist yet. Maybe. So then we just need to determine how to like do this stuff. Will the cursor blink? Probably not. Maybe eventually. Chat was so helpful with distractions. The time passed fast. Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. So then, what is left of layout and right of layout? We probably are like in here. we have this like text left thing that tells us where the left edge of the text is. We have the label bounds. So I guess we have like I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense for this guy to actually return whether he's left or right. So instead of like an optional here, I think that he should return like a selection item, which might be like character. He might hit a glyph, or maybe we'll say glyph. I guess like this is confusing now. If selection item is a selection dot item, that's crazy. But like out of bounds left, maybe, and out of bounds right, or maybe just like left and right. And this could be like we can call this, instead of this, we can call this like a cursor text. Like, what are we, like hits? Oh, which is a function that already exists. That's funny. So that's funny. So this guy, I guess it's the, oh, here we go. This makes more sense. So this returns cursor text hit here. And this is a text hit. Oh, which means that text hit should just be. Well, can we define this guy without modifying him? Can we like reuse this left and right? Like, how is this being used? Is this index used anywhere? Yes, because it's used to turn this thing into a selection item, but that's okay. So it doesn't have to be in bounds. Yeah, okay. I think that we can just say, we can just do this here. So this guy always returns a hit. Else, if mouse x is greater than the left pause pixels, I guess maybe we can do this. Like center, like the text center x is going to be the like min x plus max over 2. This we don't have to be so precise about like we did with the last thing, I don't think. Because we're saying like, give me the center of this thing. If the mouse is right of that, then return this thing such that the index is like glyph locations len and well, here we're like returning the bounds of the thing. So there's like an empty thing at this index or something? No. We're trying to return like the right side. I don't know. Maybe something like this? So we like return a fake hit who's on the right half of everything. The right edge of the text. And then here, we are using that to determine if we're on the left or right side of the character we clicked on. Which I don't like. I kind of want to fold this down. I want to fold these things together, I think. Yeah, this is stupid. Okay, so if we're right at the text center, then we want to, like, can we just return a selection item here? So if we hit this thing, we do whatever the fuck we were doing here. like this. And then if we're on the right side, let's just like pick something. So if we're on the right, we are on the left side of a character that is non-existence. Else we return the left side of 0. And technically you could do like right side of a character that does exist, but I think that's fine. I think it's fine. Then there's like this, glyph lock pixel x2, I think. Then does everything else kind of just compile. Then this is, what was the other function that we just deleted called? Calc selection item. Something like that. So that thing always returns. So it's just like self selection and is this. It's always there. Okay. If the length is 0, I guess we return the left side of 0. Okay, I click over here. So select the cursor's in the center. I click on the right, it jumps to the right, and then does everything else. There's a bug here somewhere. It's if I'm between characters. So there is space between characters, which I have forgotten, right? So here we may return null because we did not collide with anything. Where I think what we should do is we should just always return something. Yeah. Let's see what happens if we do this. So we always return something. Which means all of this just goes away, which is funny. Interesting. That's interesting. I wonder what happens if we do that. Because it feels like that shouldn't work. But maybe it does. So we click over here, he jumps to the left, we click over here. No, see now. Huh. Something's wrong there. I'm surprised that changed anything. I'm surprised that changed something. Can we return if we print out if what it hit? Because like when I'm clicking within the first character, he's returning 0 here, right? So then like why is my cursor on the right side of that guy? Like hello? Selection index. Hit on less than 1 does not 0. I think it does. I think it should. I think everything should just kind of work here. Which is why I'm confused. Isn't Carside bias towards right? Only for like only for the cursor drawing? Maybe it is? Let's see. Okay. So if I go to the beginning here. he does think that he's on the right side of the first character. That's what that means. Because here, which means that this check must think that the mouse location is larger than the center of the glyph. What the fuck? That doesn't make sense. So if I click here, I can't remember what these things mean. Bar bounds mouse. So my mouse position is 20 here. Oh. The bounds position here needs to be offset by the left edge. Oh, because mouse X here should be mouse rel text. There we go, baby. Interesting. So it's kind of neat that by making it so that the search always returns, those like edge cases just disappeared. Right? Because like the binary search will just automatically jump us to the right side or the left side because like that's where the binary search ends, which is kind of fun. So this should be like closest glyph is a better name for this thing. All right. Nice. What the fuck is with this line of code? Was this like a Zig formatting nightmare thing? Like, can I not format this like this? Does Zig not like it? Oh, it doesn't. That's annoying. That's annoying. What am I supposed to do? Like this? How do I make it allow what I was doing? Ugh. Ugh, does it work with empty text? Great question. Looks like it. And single character works fine as well. Yeah, I don't like... Am I high? I think that like Zig should let me write code like this. He wants new lines? Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'll take that. I mean, I would prefer it to be inline, but I guess, you know. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Yeah, okay, cool. Nice, that's a lot better. That's a lot better. Okay. I guess let's do a little... there is some prints that we do not want in there, huh? Yeah, that's a formatting problem. That's fine. So what is this? Text box. What are we doing here? It's move, fix selection of, or fix move cursor when clicked outside of text. All right. Outside selection. All right, so when we have this, and I am way back here in the text, and I drag select like this. As soon as I leave, he like insta jumps to the end, right? Or like at least not at like a controlled way, right? I feel like with Firefox, if I like drag off the side a little bit, it moves slow, and if I drag off the side more, it like moves faster. Can we make something like really long? Okay, so here I'm like slow, faster, faster, faster. And it accelerates quick, but like there is some sort of speed control here with like a few pixel movement, right? Which I think makes sense. So I would like to do something like that. So how do we handle that? Why AutoMod constantly blocks two-step messaging? I think it's more that it like sees you greeting everybody and then is like he's spamming or something like that. Okay. So I guess if we are out of frame, we want to take a different path, maybe? Right, so here we're just checking if we're in the dragging state. Or the mouse was clicked. Oh, wait, is that a bug, by the way? Yeah, it's a bug. If I click anywhere on the screen, it'll jump the cursor outside. So this should be or mouse pressed and input bounds contains mouse pause or something. I think. Yeah, there we go. So now we have to actually click inside the text for that to happen. Okay. So maybe it's like what? If it's like if we're dragging and out of bounds, then like mark off like acceleration. Because at this point, we don't have any like concept of speed here. We do have concept of speed in another function here. So what we want to do is like on update, like check some acceleration or some like speed variable, and then like apply speed to delta to speed times delta to label offset. That feels like maybe something, right? So I guess in input we need to do a couple more changes, right? So we say like mouse pressed in widget is this part. Can we say mouse in widget is this part? Okay. So this is now like standard selection update. Maybe this is a like selection update is an enum that's like standard and Excel or like drift or something, right? Like something that marks like I want to call it drift. I don't really know why I want to call it that. It just feels like the best word, which is like accelerate or like move some amount per frame, and this is like jump to specific position. So maybe this is jump and drift. Maybe. And then we can say like from input or something. I'm not sure. We're feeling it out. Okay. Then he calculates these. Then it's like if, I guess he wants more. Let's just do this. We'll say, maybe there's none as well. That makes sense. That makes sense. And so it's like var selection update is if state is dragging and mouse pressed in widget. This is jump. Here we go. Here we go. We're getting there. Is it like this? Else if what? What is the other? Self state is dragging and not mouse in widget. This is drift. Else none? That feels kind of right. Maybe something like this. Then, if we are jump style, we do this. If we are non-style, we do nothing. And if we are drift style, we want to maybe calculate like how far out of bounds the mouse is. And say like self label speed is like something relative to the like mouse position relative to the bounds of the widget or something, right? Yeah. So this is like if mouse mouse x pause is greater than oh, interestingly, we're using input bounds here, but maybe we should be using widget bounds. So there's like a slight difference here where like if I have some text here, but like this, like, how do I say this? So sometimes you'll have like a scroll view, maybe, right? And like your text will be like rendered outside of the scroll view. So your widget bounds are of this text is kind of like this, but the input bounds are only the part that is selectable, like actually interactable right now. So here, the drag state stuff actually might be based off of the like widget bounds that are invisible, not the actual input bounds of only the visible part. I'm not sure. No, input bounds seems fine actually. But like the behavior of the scroll of the clipping is based off of the widget bounds, not the input bounds. So maybe we call this mouse in input. And then this is mouse pressed in input. And we have mouse in widget, which is different. And the drag stuff is allowed to interact with stuff that's not visible. I think that makes more sense. Very confusing. Very confusing. So that means that you cannot select text with a click that is not currently visible, right? So if it's like something like you have your text box, but then like some of it is masked off with something covering it. Like if you start selecting with a click here and then drag over here. No, this should still work. Which means that this is mouse pressed in widget. No, not mouse pressed in widget. This is an or. Okay. So there's also like dragging in widget. Which is like mouse in widget and self state is dragging. So this is based off dragging in widget. Then we can jump to that specific point. Or mouse pressed in input. So if we click here, we do a jump. Or if we clicked here and we dragged into this point, then we also do a jump. Yes, okay. Okay. Then there's dragging in widget. So, or we're just in dragging. So if we are dragging in the widget or the mouse pressing the input, then we jump to somewhere. Or if we're just dragging, then we drift. Right? There's like an implicit outside of widget here, otherwise none. And then are all of these used? Yes, okay. Holy shit, how confusing. How confusing. I'm glad I made the Xenome now. Quadruple click should select all text. Fuck off. Okay, not actually. I've just been like, no, I don't want to implement more things. That's not like a fuck you, like aggressive. That's like a fuck you, you're right. You know? It just came off more aggressive. As soon as I said it, I was like, wait, I didn't mean it that harshly. Okay. So if the mouse X position is greater than the right side of the widget. Of the widget? Of the widget. Of the widget. Then, like, self-label speed is equal to mouse X pause minus widget bounds right times some, like, speed multiplier, right? But maybe this is just fine. And then if we're mouse X pause is less than the left, the label speed is going to be this, so it becomes negative. So maybe you could even do like ref position is equal to this. Maybe yeah, it's fine. Alt if else maybe widget bounds left. We just kind of assume. As long as there's no like bugs here. As long as there's no bugs, that should be fine. Label speed is gonna be mouse X pause minus ref pause. And then here we should just kind of like, I actually want to do center. Is there no like CX? Yeah, there is. Nice. There we go. There we go. Okay, and then we just do label speed somewhere. Which is in pixel units. Okay. And so on update, it's like self label left offset plus equals label speed times delta S, right? But like this should be times some multiplier. I guess we need to do a little bit of floating point conversion. And then a little bit of integer conversion back. Maybe? Okay, can we enter some text here? This is doing nothing. Can we confirm that label speed is being updated? That is in fact being updated. So it's interesting. Maybe this is backwards. So if we're going right, then the label left offset should be moving to the left. Is probably the bug here. Oh yeah, that felt good. Now we need to clamp that to in some way, which we have update text position here, which should be done. Oh, that's funny. So earlier somebody was saying that we should not make it so that when we type here and then backspace, we should pin the text to the right. And now, kind of just like by chance, I agree. And we should pin, we need, because now this actually has like an effect on something else. Okay, so here we want, what are the rules? We want the cursor visible, for sure. Then we also want to clamp, like, snap right if there's empty space on the right, and then snap left if there's empty space on the left. And then that way, if there's empty space on both sides, then it'll like re-snap to the left at the end. So I think it's just like, so we should be looking at, we have our own width here. I guess it's like label left offset. There's like layout bounds, max X. So if this is less than this plus label left offset, I guess, is less than width, we say self label left offset plus equals width minus this. Something like this. Else, then also snap left, right? So we do it the other way. So if this is less than 0, no, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right. I guess if this is greater than 0, then it does seem right. And then can we just snap this? Label left offset is equal to like I don't know, layout bounds max X. There's something here. This is wrong as well. Like this. There we go. Okay, and then this is something like that. Something like that. So we have like the right edge in layout space. And where are we trying to snap this to? If it's like max is here, this is the value. We want max to be here. This is like max plus label offset, I guess. So we want max plus offset to be here, which means we have like the left edge here, over here somewhere. Then we have this as well. No, this distance is max. This distance is... Dude, am I fucking stupid? We want left max plus off equals width. This is so straightforward. Offs is width minus max. Thank God, dude. I'm so fucking stupid sometimes. Holy shit. That took so long. Okay. So deleting is working there. Okay. And then I think that the speed here is just too much. Oh, something's wrong there. What just happened? What just happened? Why is my label speed so high? Oh, is it not getting cleared? Okay. Good, good. Okay. Can we, like, just really slow this shit down? Okay. Okay, I think that's kind of working. Okay, let's just make the text really long. I think, is the left edge working correctly too? I want the text to be really long so that I can, like... Something's wrong here where the selection is not updating on drift. So we're like moving the text, but the selection itself is not getting updated, right? So here it's like it's almost like the cursor position should be getting moved, not the label offset. And then we snap the cursor back in. You know what I mean? Like, instead of the label sliding around, the cursor should be sliding around, and it's up to, like, this guy snaps cursor. So, how do we do that? This could be cursor, set cursor position to self cursor position plus this. Ignore the absolute clusterfuck. So maybe like cursor mod is a U size, or not a U size, a I64 or something. Maybe this is like if label speed is less than 0. Then we can do U size math a little easier. New pause is, I guess we have like old position. New pause is going to be the old position minus adjustment, or like negative. Let's calculate this as an I64. And then this can be as usize negative adjustment. There we go. And then this is kind of like this, I guess. And then this could be int cast. I'm just trying to like get the casting to kind of work nicely, and I think this kind of works nice. Otherwise, new pause plus equals adjustment. Yep, okay. Adjustment. Sure. Yeah, that seems right. Then we set new pause here. I don't really know if this like cursor gets like clamped correctly or if it needs to be. But like, okay, it does. Stood math clamp. New pause. How does this work? 0. I guess it's like minimum of, you know, whatever the fuck. Label, glyph, locations, len. Maybe it's like something like this. So it did seem like it can go to bounds. And then can we like really just like lower this speed? Because he's moving like crazy fast style now. Maybe something like this. Maybe something like this. Okay. He is still moving like hella fast. Wait, only... We need maybe slow, maybe faster. Over 10. Oh, there we go. It's moving very... So now the problem is that the movement is in units of characters per frame. It can't move less than a character per frame now, which is annoying. Right? Because like we really want to be able to move less than a character per frame. Ugh. Ugh. Because that makes it feel like the cursor like almost wants to be like a floating point value, right? So that it can be like in between characters. And then we like discretize that thing when we want to turn it into like the actual cursor, but that's gross, right? I don't like that. The other option is that we snap the cursor based off of the label offset, which kind of makes more sense in terms of like what each of the things that we're storing is. But I don't really like that either. So, or we have a dual component like label position or like drift position where the like drift applies the sub character amount to the label offset, but the character amount to the cursor. That's gross too. None of this is really right. I think the most sane thing to do here is to slide the label and snap the cursor. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that really makes sense. So we'll just undo everything we just did here. And then let's just double check that this was, in fact, felt okay, other than the selection not being good. Side note here, there's also a problem where if we are selecting kind of like just out of bounds of the text, but before we get into this drift area, like the cursor keeps snapping to the left edge of a character every frame, but that left edge of the character is outside of the like outside of the bounds that we want to like of where the text is supposed to be. Like it's kind of like, how do I say this? There's like the text box bounds, and then there's the like where we want these things with padding, right? Pad. And if we select text in here, then that counts as a jump, but the jump needs to put this in here. So the jump detection needs to not be dragging in widget. It needs to be dragging in like text bounds. Not the text bounds, dragging in padded widget. So here we need like, you know, padded widget is going to be pixel bounding box that has this left as widget bounds left plus the left pad. God damn it, man. Everything's so fucking hard. Subtract the right pad here. Top is widget bounds top, and bottom is widget bounds bottom. Life's hard. Yeah. So this is now dragging in padded widget is this used anywhere else? So this is mouse in padded widget here and here, and this is padded widget here. Okay. Jesus Christ. So that should fix that problem. Yep. Okay. So now all we have to do is jump the cursor. So this is like, it's almost like if label speed is not equal to 0, here we need to somehow be like self cursor pause. Like we almost want like leftmost character, which we can reuse that binary search for, right? Right, so this is going to tell us, like before it was based off of a mouse position and bounds. Ew. But we don't have bounds right now. We only have sizes at this stage, which is a little annoying. So it's like this is very close to the same thing. Oh, closest glyph. Wait. Oh, beautiful. Closest glyph actually is exactly what we want. Hype. So we can go be like closest glyph given, what is it? Self glyph locate, like label glyph locations. And the X position now is going to be the label left offset. And does this guy, he's trying to say like which element is in that, but we need to add the pad as well. And I guess it depends. This is like if less than 0, we want to pick the left side. But if it's greater than 0, we want to pick the right side. Jesus fuck, dude. So here, it's like plus the like size of our widget minus the left pad or something. Something like that. Something like that. And then if we're moving right, then we probably want to set like I think we want to like update the selection end. Yeah, to like the right side. Jesus fuck. Yeah. To uh glyph index right side. Wait, is that true? Not necessarily. Maybe. I don't know. We'll try this for now. It might not feel quite right. Because there's a chance that, like, we want to accurately determine which side of the glyph that we've selected. There's, like, a world where that's also true. But let's just try it like this for now and see how that feels in terms of, like... Okay, that's not good. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is happening? It's inverted. Oh yeah, you're right. Because like the label offset is like negative. No, that doesn't seem right either. Uh, can we just do this instead? If we'll only handle label speed greater than 0, and let's just log the glyph index. Let's just see what the fuck is going on here. I mean, the index is immediately going to 0, which is crazy, right? So we're doing something wrong? If label speed is greater than 0, which it was, that was triggering, we are looking for the closest glyph at label left offset plus left pad. Is this thing already accounting for stuff? No. The fuck? Can we just do this all the time? I just want to see, like... So he's 0. As we move forward, this should be advancing. But it's not, right? So we're doing something wrong. I just don't know what. Is this supposed to be negative? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So if we are moving... If the speed... Oh my god. If this is greater than 0... If this is less than 0, we're looking for the left side, I think. Okay. Yes. Cool. Now, can we say end is equal to init with glyph index on the left side? How does that feel? Not bad. I think that the it's very jumpy now. Can we select the right side of that thing instead? I mean, there. Now when we move slow... I mean, I think that feels okay. I think. So now we do the same thing for greater than 0. But we just have to use the right edge. So this is minus this plus the width of the box. And then here we want to use the left side probably if we want to use the right side when we're going left. Okay. Okay, that part feels okay. There's a bug here. I don't know what the fuck is going on there. But now... like, that feels good. Yeah, I mean, we could go a little slower. It does still feel a little jumpy, but maybe it's fine. Okay, now what's happening here? Jumping due to the double snapping. Yeah, I do agree that there's something to do with that, right? So it's almost like maybe the update text position for cursor snapping is done in the else block. You know, it's like only if there is no dragging. Oh, but we still do have to snap in. But it does feel less jumpy without that. Yeah. So I hate doing this. Ew. But for now, like this is disgusting. We should never do this. Never do this. These should just be two separate functions. But this is the cheap and easy way to do this. For now. Fix me. Ew, bool param. Nasty. What's he not like now? Okay, let's try that. Yeah, that feels good. Yep. 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 And then if I start holding left, that feels good too. Behaviorally, this is kind of what I want. Yeah, I mean, I'd allow that. I'd allow that in terms of like behavior. Okay, there was a bug, one more bug to fix related to this, right? Which was if I like start like right on the edge here is a bug. Right? It's like when we're in the padding section. And it's gotta be related to like the fact that we are there's something fucked here, right? We're like, if we are within the widget, it's like we're entering this dragging state too early. You know what I mean? It's like this should only happen if we're outside the widget. So it's like this has to be like and widget bounds contains mouse pause. Right? Like in the padded section, we want to hit the none case. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it's also a little awkward that we are jumping in the when we drag outside here, since we're trying to be on the right side of the character, it doesn't like that anymore. But I think that after some of the changes that we made, it should be okay to pick the left side of the left character and the right side of the right character when we're in the drift state. Yeah. That now feels like everything is consistent. There's no like weird jumpy behavior anywhere in there, which is nice. What if we go right? There's a padding problem here. Right side's fucked. Right, like it's this shouldn't be happening. Like he's jumping, he's entering jump state on the right side for some fucking reason. Can we log like what state we picked here? Because I don't feel like it's being identified correctly here. Oh, it is. Okay, so we're going into drift state correctly, but in drift state, we're selecting too far to the right. Okay. So that's the label speed greater than 0 case. So we are looking for the negative label offset plus width minus the left pad. Hold on, looking in. Maybe that's correct. Right, because the K is in fact inside the thing. I wonder if this should just always be biased left. That feels wrong, but I would be curious to see what the behavior is there. I wonder if it's like a lower bound, upper bound thing. I don't understand why. I don't understand why that works better. But it does. Oh, Adam, thank you for the raid. Man is locked in. Yeah, sorry. What's up, you guys? How was your stream? Hope things were good. We are working on this text box widget. You have probably explained this a bunch, but out of curiosity, why are you making a GUI framework? Why? Well, because this is my hobby, okay? Coding is fun. I like coding. And because we have a masochistic rule where we don't use other people's code. So we have, look at this bad boy though. Look at this. We got a thumbnail. Whoa, you can drag it. Wow, we got a centered label. Wow, we got a text box. It's starting to like not suck to use, to be honest. Look at that. Wowzers. We're like mirroring the text box in a label. Wow, you can click a button and count how many times it's clicked. Wow, checkbox. Wow, i32 dragger. Wow, look at this histogram combo box. Well, that's bugged. This was fixed at some point. This is not supposed to drift all the way down to the bottom. There's a problem there that needs to be fixed. Look at this color picker. Wowzer. Yeah, anyways. Check out Adam Learns Live if you haven't. Fun stuff over there. I think he's working on a second new game. First one, Scale Zeller. Second one, something about being stuck in a broken tutorial. Crazy idea. Checkbox checker. You click off, it turns to on, and then the game credits open and centered label. Perfect. But anyways, we were working on text box stuff. And the thing we were struggling with just now was kind of like smooth scrolling off label here. So when I'm like dragging the selection and I start dragging off the side of it, like how should it behave? And it does seem like we just got to the point where that was working. I don't know why on both the left and right side we need to bias towards the left side of the character for selection. I suspect that the binary search that we've implemented for closest glyph is like accidentally a lower bound search or something like that. And so like because of the fact that it's like biasing to the left instead of the right, or maybe it's biasing to the right instead of the left, we want to like bias our selection to the left side. I'm not sure. So this is weird. I would like to put a fix me here that says, why is this left and not right? It could also be because of the fact that this is a exclusive range, not an inclusive range. Not really sure. High scores would show on a histogram. We need widget for that. Wait, we have one. Yeah, let's go. However much I appreciate the raid, Adam, unfortunately you have done the thing that I always do, where you raided me right before the stream ends, right? We had all these things to do, but we're at the 2-hour mark, which means that, you know, this is about as long as I want to post a YouTube video for. So I am happy with the progress. The cursor centering thing took so much longer than I thought it would. We were doing a lot of, for you raiders, trying to get this cursor to end up in the correct spot here was actually like such a mega pain in the ass. But it is behaving the way we want it to now, so that's kind of huge. So that took longer than I thought. We do not. I think that shockingly, there's another day of improvements to be made here, which is kind of exciting in that we get to work on it more. Not exciting in that we didn't finish everything. But we will call it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. YouTube, if you like what you saw, we stream on Twitch. We aim for 12:30 Pacific time to whenever the fuck we finish. Some stuff goes on YouTube, some stuff does not. So if you want access to the stuff that does not go on YouTube, which is kind of like just less chapterable, titleable stuff, that goes on Patreon, YouTube members, or in Twitch VODs. If you pay in the appropriate spot, you help support the stream, and you also get access to the VODs that we don't post. If you're watching on Twitch, there's a YouTube where feature development goes up. So check that out if you haven't. I think that's it. YouTube, peace. Twitch, let's find someone to raid.